If you like this podcast or the previous ones, please consider buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Frankie'sPod. It just goes to help fund the software and the hosting. Welcome back to the podcast. In tonight's episode, I'm talking about Alex Harrison. Alex served with the Grenadier Guards and had a bit of an incident, let's say, while on tour. But I'll let him explain that. I mean, it's his story. I'm not going to say it. Hi, Alex. How are you doing?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad at all.
Thanks for coming on the show. It's brilliant. I'm so glad you agreed to do it. So it's like the same 5 questions that I give everybody. Where did you grow up? Where did you grow up? Why did you join the army? What did you do? Why did you leave? And what have you done since? And I think you've got out of everyone I've interviewed, you've got to have quite an interesting story. So if you just want to start,
it's pretty out there.
Yeah, just give us a bit of where you grew up and why you joined the army.
So, I grew up in Lincolnshire. Started my first 7 years of my life out in a little sleepy town called Horncastle. And then my mum and dad split up when I was about 7 or 8. Obviously, back then everybody, kids went with the mum, so I bounced around quite a bit with my mum. Ended up in Lincoln itself. So spent the teenage years of my life on a council estate, going to normal public school, doing what teenagers did back in the 90s. So yeah, pretty standard.
Yeah, Lincoln's. I don't know Lincoln very well, but my parents moved to when I joined the army in 1985. I went home on my first leave, and I'm from Hartlepool, so I'm in the northeast. Went home on my first leave, and walked in the house, and I thought, for me, this all looks a bit different. And all redecorated and that, new furniture and that. I thought, what's going on? I mean, my sister walked down the stairs and she goes, "What are you doing here?" I says, "What are you on about? I've come on leave." She goes, "You don't live here anymore." What? They bought the house off my mum and dad. My mum and dad had moved while I was in fucking training.
Oh, fucking hell.
Tell me. They moved to Grantham.
Oh, right, yeah, Grantham, yeah.
Yeah, I said, "Where they moved then?" They said, "Grantham." Where the fuck's that? In Lincolnshire. Where the fuck's that? All right. So yeah, I kind of know. I know Grantham, but I don't know Lincoln very well.
Grantham's a bit of a random one to move to from Hartlepool. Was that because of your dad's?
No. They'd been looking for somewhere to go, and one day they were driving down the A1. I went, "Oh, that sounds nice." So they drove into Grantham. And thought, "Oh, I like it here." They bought
it's not. I mean, I don't know what it was like back then, but it's certainly not that. Yeah, certainly not that glorious.
Without wanting to offend anyone from Grantham, but it's a fucking shithole and it's weird.
Yeah,
it's a fucking weird place. Yeah. I must admit, I've had some good nights there. I'll give it its due for that. But
you're a braver man than me for going on the piss in Grantham.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's things I could tell you, but I wouldn't on here. So, what made you want to join the military then?
Well, it's just my mum told me that when I was 3 years old, first Gulf War kicking off, back in 1991, and it was all over the news. Yeah, I know. I feel old talking to some of the young'uns, but yeah. So when that was all kicking off, I was a little Ben, and it's all over the news. And apparently, I said to my mum, when I grow up, I want to be a soldier. Or pointing at that and pointing at the screen and saying, "Oh, I want to be one of them." But I mean, obviously, I was 3. I don't remember that. Yeah. And and then sort of as I got through teenage years, I realised how fucking messed up my family was. The fact that I was living on a council estate with my mum, and I wanted the fuck out of there. So the only logical way to go about that was join the army. So at the grand old age of 13, I joined. I'm 12, I think actually. At 12, joined the cadets, which was Cat Badge Grenadiers. Did 4 years. Hang on, maths ain't good. That's why I went infantry, because my maths is shit. But anyway, at 16, at 15 and a half, I was like, nope, definitely going in the army. Don't give a shit. Bosh, down to the recruiting office, and walked in, said, I want to be a grenadier. How do I go about doing it? And they're like, oh, right, yeah,
And
you
there was
come
no
to...
deviation. You didn't want to be in anything else apart from grenadier.
Well, the recruiting officers, I mean, it was fortunate that when I walked into the recruiting office, the recruiting sergeant was a grenadier Cat Badge. Sergeant Golding, I even remember his name. I've seen him since actually, but they put me through the process, and you have to write down like 3 regiments, don't you? I can't remember what the third one was, but the second one was Royal Anglians. But yeah, and went in, did my barb test, and apparently, now I don't know if this was just them telling me, because of, I don't know, just telling me like they tell everybody, or whether there's actually any truth in it. But apparently I got one of the highest scores they've ever seen in Lincoln Recruiting Office on the barb test. So there was like, fucking hell, you don't want to be going infantry, you know. Think about it fucking when you come out, you know, go into a trade, do this, go artillery. And they basically offered me everything but intelligence score. And I was just dead set on going fucking grenadiers. So that's what I did.
Well, that's fine, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder how many times they do say that to people. I mean, weirdly, when around my time of joining, like in the mid-80s, everybody wanted to either, be in the Air Corps for some reason. I wanted to join the Air Corps, but it was really hard to get in because I think they only had one intake a year, and we were going for like junior soldiers type of, for it, junior leaders regiments. So I mean, it's a shame they got rid of them. But I mean, you've got Harrogate, I suppose now.
Yeah.
But nearly everyone who joined about the same time as me, I've heard them on here talking. They're all going, "Oh yeah, we were trying to go in the Air Corps," and I was like, "So was that? The Air Corps could have been massive." And we all got like, "No, you can't get in the Air Corps. Yeah, you'll have to wait." No, I want in now. So I ended up in the artillery. I didn't even know what the artillery was.
Yeah.
I had I wanted Air Corps. I wanted to go to the Air Corps, and that was it. And I was a kid, like, with posters of Lynx helicopters and gazelles and stuff all over my bedroom and that.
Yeah.
But Air Corps. And then when I come back from Sutton Coldfield and been down for selection, I was like, "Oh, I'm in the artillery. What's that?" I don't know. They blow stuff up from a long way away. I'll find out.
That's the most accurate description I've heard so far. Blow stuff up from a long distance away.
Yeah. When quite early on in my career, I went AWOL. I've been AWOL a few times. I went AWOL for like nearly 8 months, and I signed on the dole while I was on the dock while I was AWOL. Because I got fed up with having no money, so I thought, if they're going to catch me, they're going to catch me. So I went and signed on. I was doing employment training. But I went and they said, "What previous experience have you got?" And I said, "Fucking hell, I kill people from a long way away." And they were just like, "What?" I said, "That's all I know. I was in the army." "Oh, yeah, all right, fair enough." But I managed to sign on the dole and start doing trade training with them and that. What used to call employment training years ago. So you'd have to go off a course and stuff. In the end, I got caught because I was walking down a railway track pissed up. Policeman stopped me.
Well, how come you went on the AWOL? What made you go?
Women.
Oh right,
Okay. Didn't want to fucking leave her. Blah blah blah. It's not too bad. We ended up married for 30 years. So
yeah, that's not too bad.
We're not married anymore. Same as a lot of guys, I think, when they come out of the army, you end up living on
the amount of lads that left for women is ridiculous. But the fucking stupid thing is that they leave for the woman, and then 6 months after getting out, once they get stressed and fucking can't handle civvy life, the fucking missus leaves them.
Yeah, the amount of people I've seen who've done a full term in the army, married nearly all the way through. Like I said, we were married for 30. I'm still actually married technically. 35 years. We've been separated for 5. But the amount of lads I've seen who leave and you think, their marriage was rock solid. They've left the army, and like you say, you can get used to. I've been out 12 years now, and I wouldn't say I'm still used to being a civvy. No way. I still find it a bit odd. Certain things I still don't want to deal with people sometimes, type of thing.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I got out in 2009, and I can't fucking deal with fucking civvy life. It drives me fucking nuts.
well, I suppose like with the community that we'll probably end up talking about later on, your little your little army, let's call it.
Well, yeah.
So what was it like turning up for training then? Or was that a shock? I suppose with the cadets that had really helped.
Ish, because
Right.
like day one, week one, because I went to Harrogate. I think I was literally 16 and 3 months old. So I ended up going to Harrogate, and when I got there, week one, day one, the first thing they said to us was, if there's any cadets amongst you, forget everything you fucking learned because it was probably wrong. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe. So I was the quite shy, nervous type when I joined in 2003. I was
You've definitely grown out of that then.
oh yeah, massively. I mean, yeah, just the army will do that to you anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was
So
that in Harrogate then?
I really enjoyed it because it was. So I did well, it's the only course that was available then. So I did a long course, as they'd know it nowadays, which is full 12 months long. And
Right.
while you're there, you do your phase one training, further education. So I did application of numbers, which is maths, um, communication skills, which is English, and IT. Well, I failed IT because I'm a mong. And also, I was in the mindset of, well, I'm going infantry. I'm not going to be playing with computers. Fucking bin this shit off. So, didn't really put any effort into it. How fucking wrong I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I really loved it because alongside all of that, you also do DV training, Duke of Edinburgh, which you had to
Yeah.
do one
Oh,
main.
yeah.
Yeah, you had to do one main sport and then two halves. So the main one you did all the way through, which I chose American football and ended up going to America to play American football with their college kids. And then your two secondaries are like you do like 6 months of it. So I did hovercrafting and trampolining.
What?
Yeah. It was
I can get
mega.
with the American football, but hovercrafting and trampolining.
Yeah.
Hovercrafting? Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's like them little one man hovercrafts at the
Yeah.
race. Yeah, we was teach. Yeah, we was learning how to build, maintain, and race them.
That's mint.
Yeah.
I did photography and I was shit at
Yeah.
it. Fucking
Yeah,
hell.
I was doing all right with the hovercrafting until I wrapped it around one of the lampposts on the field.
So American football,
but
I'll have to delve into your mind. You can explain the frigging rules to me. My son started doing it when he was just before he left school, and he
yeah.
ended up playing for Gateshead Senators for a
So
couple of games.
effectively, the long and short of it is you've got 3 attempts to move 10 yards forward. Is the easiest way to. So each play is an attempt, and you've got
Yeah.
three plays to move 10 yards forward. Now, if you make that 10 yards, you keep possession of the ball until you get 3 attempts where you don't make 10 yards. So if you do like a touchdown, is it a touchdown?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't fucking know. I can't remember. But yeah, if you have a run or a play that does really well and you get a full fucking touchdown from it, you quit in. You just keep hold of the ball, it resets, and you have to keep working way forward until you effectively have 3 attempts of moving forward and fail. Then the possession goes to them. And so you have 2 sides of the team. You have a defense and an offense.
Yeah.
And when you've got the ball, you've got to move. You have your offensive on, and then when you're obviously defending, you have your defence on. So
No, I went to, he'd been doing all this training with him and all that, and I went to watch the first game with him playing, and I just sat there going, "What the fuck's going on?" I was like,
yeah,
"Why
it's
didn't you
very
pass the ball
confusing
up?"
for a lot of most Britons that are British people that don't aren't into it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a wild
and it was like
sport.
3 hours long. I was like sat there going,
Mm.
"What's happening?"
Yeah,
So after that, I just sat in the car while he was playing.
yeah.
Bless
So
him.
yeah, I think you have. I can't. I mean, I wasn't too sketched up on the rules, but I'm sure you get something like so much time per team.
Yeah.
So yeah, and stoppage time and change time and shit like that. So it's
So if you phase 2 training, then is that after Harrogate, or do you? So when do you go to do the infantry training?
So after Harrogate, I went to Catterick to do phase 2
Right.
training, which is my infantry training. So because I went to Harrogate and there was a full platoon of lads spread amongst the 3 companies in my intake, we did a short version of normal training. So I think normal training is like 28 weeks of infantry training. But because we've done effectively phase 2, phase 1, sorry, we do 10 weeks of phase 2. So yeah, I was only supposed to be at Catterick for 10 weeks, but while I was halfway through that, I went down with a heat injury and got back squadded.
But that was a pain in the ass, wasn't
Ish.
it?
I mean, to be fair, I nearly didn't make it into the army at all because I've got a heart murmur.
Right, fucking hell.
Yeah. So when I went for selection at Leckensfield, the first time I went, they picked up that I've got a heart murmur, so they sent me over to a Bupa hospital, somewhere fucking near Birmingham,
Yeah,
private hospital, and they did an ECG where they
yeah.
stuck a load of fucking stuff to my chest and listened to it for a while. And did an ultrasound on it while they was doing that, and then it was determined that it's just I've got a leaky valve, and it's not going to stop me from doing what I need to do in the army.
Oh, that's
So
not too bad.
nearly didn't make it into the army at all. But yeah,
So
so
phase 2 very different to Harrogate then.
oh yeah, massively, because back then, phase 1 infantry don't do bayonet training. You do it at Catterick, where
Right.
now I don't think infantry do like phase 1, phase 2. I think they just if you go in infantry and you're of age, you just go straight to Catterick and do 28-week course. Those younger members that are joining the army, I think they do either Purbright or Harrogate, depending on their age. No, it'd be Harrogate they go to,
Yeah.
because if they're I'm trying to tap into my fucking knowledge that's very deep. Yeah, it's been a long
Not as
day.
fucking deep as mine, mate.
Yeah,
Yours is a
so,
bit more recent.
yeah. Well, technically, you're more up to date than I am because you got out after me.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
so
I'd just sat in an office for the last 6 years of my fucking career. I
yeah.
got given a 6-month job to work with an RCMO.
Oh
And I
yeah.
says, yeah, I'll do that before I get out. I was due, I think I was due out within 18 months or whatever.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing it for 6 years. So
Oh,
I was
Christy.
like, it was great. It was absolutely brilliant. I couldn't get to, no one could touch me. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So my
Yeah.
office, not my office, the RCMO's office, 2IC, CO, adjutant.
Yeah.
Nobody bothered me. No one came and fucking dicked me for anything like that. It was
Yeah.
great. I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
So you went from phase 2 to
Yes.
your parent
So
unit.
then, when I eventually passed out of phase 2, I went to Nijmegen Company, which is an incremental company. There's 5 guards regiments. Grenadiers being the first regiment of foot guards, with your Coldstream, Scots, your Irish and Welsh, the other 4, and 3 of them 5 have incremental companies. Grenadier, Coldstream, So Grenadier, Coldstream, and Scots Guards have an incremental company. Why the other two don't have one, I don't know. They just don't.
So what is that? I mean, that's
an incremental
alien to
company
me.
effectively is like phase 3 training.
Right. Okay.
So while you're at Nine Main Company, back in my day, it used to be there for about 9 months, where you did all the ceremonial stuff,
Right.
or primarily ceremonial stuff. So it's where you learn how to do all the Queen's Guards, state opening of Parliament. You had to do at least one troop in the colour parade. Just basically all ceremonial stuff that the guards do within London. You had to do it while you was there, as a sort of stepping stone into battalion.
Yeah. So what was that like doing the ceremonial stuff?
I really liked it.
Yeah. I was just about to say I can imagine it being a pain in the ass.
Nah, I mean a lot of the lads don't like it because it's not,
There's a lot of bullshit.
yeah, there's a lot of bullshit that comes with it. But as long as you accept that, there's going to be bullshit wherever you fucking turn, you just grit your teeth and get on with it. I mean, it gave me a massive sense of pride.
Yeah, I
Just
can
fucking,
imagine. Yeah.
yeah. Because like, our mum, my a little funny story. So my mum come down to see me while I was at Nine Main Company. I was on guard at Tower of London, and it was the middle of the summer. And was it summer? I don't know if it was summer actually. Now I say that, but anyway, she come down to see me at Tower of London. I got her in for free. And I was, because when you're not on stag, effectively your time's your own. You kind of have to stay in uniform, and you can just walk around and do whatever the fuck you want. You certainly could back in my day. I don't know if you can nowadays. So when I wasn't on stag, because you're only on stag for 2 hours, and then you
Whole day.
yeah.
That's not too bad.
Depends how it falls. If you're
Yeah.
junior bod, you'll do a morning stag and then an afternoon stag. But if you're one of the senior ones, you tend to just do one stag a day.
Yeah, better stag list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it helps if you mates with the Lance Corporal who's writing the stag list. But yeah.
I can tell what you're saying about
the
sense of pride. It'd be cool. So what did your mum think of you when she come down then?
She thought it was fucking phenomenal. She just sat on a bench watching me for fucking 2 hours. It was a bit weird from my point of view, but she fucking loved it. I mean, it gave her a massive sense of pride. And while she was sat there fucking watching us, some American couple sat next to her, and they was like, "Oh, right, yeah." They noticed that she was looking at the guardsman, aka me, and it was like, "Oh yeah, it's so wonderful to see them." Blah, 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 blah. And do you know anybody that does it? And she turned around and she's like, "Yeah, that's my son." And they was like, "What? Holy fuck!" It just blew their head off that lad that stood there's got a mum, and it just happens that she sat there. Anyway, they was taking fucking pictures of her and all sorts, getting her to stand in front of me, so they could take a picture of her and me. It was fucking odd. That's Americans for you, isn't it?
Yeah. So after that, then.
So after Nine Main Company, I went to battalion and I went into the Queen's Company. Although I got ripped off because while I was in Nine Main Company, I did the Cambrian Patrol and got gold, which is pretty fucking hard, apparently.
Yeah.
And because we was told, all the G-men that was on that competition, we was all told that because of our performance within the Cambrian Patrol, we were all going to go to Recce Platoon because long distance fucking walking, that sort of shit. But anyway, long story short, they fucked me over and they sent me to Queen's Company, which is just a normal fighting company. Which, to be fair, I'm not that fucking asked about because it was a good crack.
So the Recce Company, is that what people aspire to be?
Recce Platoon within support. Recce Platoon within support company is like the creme of the regiment, apparently. I don't know. They get all the fancy, or they used to. I don't know if they have a recce platoon anymore because they've got that Royal Regiment. That actual fucking recce battalion now, haven't they?
Yeah, it's
Whole
all
regiment.
changed. I'm lost with
Yeah,
it. You know,
yeah,
the way the artillery's changed is like totally different when I was
yeah.
in. You know, I don't even try and keep up with it. You know,
No,
I don't know that
it's
many people who are still serving anyway. So
yeah. Well, it's quite good because all the lads I served with are all like senior buds now. So I can get into the battalion and just fucking. Like I was there one Saturday doing because it was Grenadier Day. Went in and it was just fucking talking to all the like company sergeant majors, WO fucking ones. One of the lads that was a lance corporal when I was in. He's now WO. Which one's the highest? Is it WO2?
WO1.
Oh, WO1. Yeah, so
Yeah,
he's a fucking WO1 that works within Whitehall doing something.
fucking hell.
I'm not quite sure what, but he was there, and he's just fucking just so they're all the people that I served with, and I know really well. So like, if I need shit from the regiment,
You're fine. It's
yeah,
weird,
I'm
isn't it? I
sure.
mean, I do look, I keep an eye on people who are still in, who I knew,
Yeah,
and they're all getting like LE commissions and stuff like that, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, I knew you when you were a fucking pup. And
yeah,
the stuff you used to get up to, if they fucking knew.
yeah. It's fucking wild, isn't
Well, it's the same for anything, I suppose.
it?
So, what was it like then, actually being into your
Yeah.
adult work? Let's say.
Yeah, when I got to battalion, it was a bit of a shock for the wrong reasons. Mainly because now making company is pretty rigid because you're doing all the ceremonial stuff. But
Hmm.
then when you get to battalion, yes, there is a little bit of rigidity there, but it's a lot more chilled and more adult environment. If that makes
Yeah,
sense, if you're told to do something, they just expect you it's done. They don't chase you unless you don't do it. Then you're fucking for the high port. But you know what I mean. But
yeah.
yeah, they do treat you, or they certainly did in my day, treat you like professional soldiers. But I've heard a lot of other bods that's gone through other infantry regiments, and they say it's a very immature environment that they just treat you like fucking babies. And
Hmm. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I was saying I was the artillery, so I was the artillery. I was the artillery. Just
yeah,
me. The and I didn't really get you tend not to mix with other units and don't have that much of experience with them until I
yeah,
got moved up to the fire planning cell. So we ended up in they work in brigade headquarters, battle group headquarters.
yeah,
So I got to see how the Fusiliers worked because we were supporting the Fusiliers at the time, and it kind of opened my eyes. Like people will think, infantry thick as fuck, lowest score, they don't, not very bright. Some fucking very intelligent people in the infantry. I
yeah,
was watching their signals bods, like their sig sergeant and stuff like that, like at battle group headquarters, and I was thinking, fucking hell, you fucking know your shit. And the lads we were working with, our OPs were out on the Warriors and out with the companies and stuff, and very, very, the Fusiliers were very good. I
yeah.
must admit, they really were. But you did have, when you said about immaturity there, yeah, there was a
But
fair bit of that,
yeah,
to be
very
honest.
babyfied. Is basically, from what I can gather, is if they was told to do something, they was coached to through it
Yeah, there
through.
was definitely micromanagement in some places.
Yeah, where there was a little bit of that in the guards,
Yeah,
but not as much because when I got to battalion, I got to battalion when they was at Windsor, and I was literally there. I don't know, 3 months, and then we moved to Aldershot, and then by that time we was into pre-deployment training for Iraq, so it
right.
was very much we're going to fucking war. Get a fucking grip of yourself.
Yeah, grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was that
Because
your first tour then, was it?
yeah, that was my first tour Iraq in 2006. Rear echelon, not rear echelon. That's something else I'm thinking about. we're operational battle group, so we was basically just stagging on and not really doing an awful lot on anything. But we
Was
was
that the beginning of the year or the second half? Because that was the last tour I did was 2006, and that was the second half of the year.
So we went out about May time. So we was out there for the summer.
No, we took over almost like from you type of thing. We was at Basra Palace.
Oh
So
right, we
didn't
get anywhere near that. I certainly didn't anyway. I say we, I certainly didn't.
Yeah.
I was up in Baghdad for the first 6 weeks.
Very different then.
Yeah, doing basically just fucking chaperoning 5-star generals around and shit like that, just being security for them, and then doing like supply runs back and forth to the airport. And it was while we was up in Baghdad, we received our first ever contact from an American fire team. We was going down what's known as the A1, which is the main road between what is the green zone and the airport. And there, as we was going down there was an American patrol in front of us doing IED clearance or detection and clearance, and we just, we was just thinking, oh, we'll just fucking swerve around them and just fucking do one. Oh no, they weren't fucking having any of it. We got to a fucking distance, and they was telling us to fucking stop and fucking turn around and this, yelling at us. Obviously, we didn't fucking hear them because they're in their vehicles and we're in ours. And then we obviously got a little too close for their fucking comfort zone. So they fucking shot a warning shot off through their 50 cal into the soft verge. And we was like, no, we're gonna fucking turn around and fuck off. We'll do this later.
Yeah. Point taken, lads. Yeah, we get you now.
Yeah, and I was on the first front vehicle, and it was a bit of a holy shit. What the fuck's he shooting at us for? They don't give a shit. The Americans, they just
I could tell stories about the Yanks, but I won't.
Yeah, shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, but it's actually written into that's their like rules of engagement, isn't it? Almost.
Effectively, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the same with their their police force as well. Unfortunately, I
think they're slowly changing that.
Yeah, well, I hope so. I mean, when the way our country's going.
Yeah, when you're in a country that is legal to have firearms, it's just never going to go well, is it? But yeah, well, yeah, let's not go down the fucking. Yeah, but that's just a show. That's just a showpiece, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a toy basically. It's a little plastic BB gun.
Yeah.
Mind you saying that, I wouldn't like to get shot off it. Fucking imagine it'd sting a bit.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's. I've had a few fucking airsoft rifles before, and I got an L96 once because I was quite into my airsofting. And then when I got it, I was wondering how powerful it was. So then I fucking our mate was just round at our house at the time, so practically his leg was at the end of the barrel. I pulled the trigger, and the BB actually stuck in his calf.
Oh, yeah. I mean that one will go through an empty can of beer. Not that I sit here on a night shooting cans of beer. It'll go through it, so I wouldn't like to get shot off it. No, I found that there was like a military show on in Blythe, and there was a tent where they were selling like airsoft guns, and I walked in and seen that, and I thought, hang on a minute, shouldn't that be like painted blue or pink or something? And I was fucking, I love that. That's going on my wall. 45 quid it was.
Oh, that's a fucking bargain.
I know. I was like thinking, it's something for the wall, something to talk about when people come around. When the Op Courage guy come around to give me some counselling, he like walked in and looked on the wall and went like looked at me, and I was like, it's not real, don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about that. I don't think I'll be able to take my head off with a BB gun.
Don't know until you try
it. Don't. Next time I'm drunk, I'll be like, oh, all
right. Yeah.
See if they say it's a bit more.
Yeah.
So was the rest of the tour in Iraq then? Did it get any more interesting?
No. Well, to find interesting, because when we finished up in Baghdad, of which we got sniped as well while we was up there, but We didn't
So
fucking know.
that was your first real contact then, apart from the Yanks taking pot shots.
Yeah, that was our first real contact, but we didn't know it had happened. Because we was, so you know the training ground, the parade ground with the cross swords.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where we used.
Yeah.
That's where we used to do all our vehicle training, because we was all vehicle based in snatches.
Yeah.
So we was to go on. We would go on there and do all our training and stuff on there, because that's inside the green zone and it's a bit safer, whatever. And while we was there having a fucking water break, there's just a fucking like a bit of a ding off a wall behind us, and like none of us was like, even the platoon sergeant, oh fucking anybody that was there was just like, oh, we didn't even fucking notice it. It was just like we thought somebody had thrown a rock. One of the lads had just thrown a rock at the wall. Just didn't think anything of it, and then he just fucking carried on sitting around, and they eventually cracked on after our water break, and then ended up going back to camp, and the camp QRF was like, "Oh, we was just about to come get you," and we were like, "What? Why? What the fuck's going on?" And they were like, "Yeah, you got sniped at. It was on the net," and we were like, "Did we? Oh, okay." Like nobody was none the wiser. It's like straight over our head. It just didn't fucking didn't register at all. So that was quite interesting. And then after we did our 6 weeks in Baghdad, we went down to Shaiba Logistics Base. And then we was on basically stagging on the POW camp.
But was that interesting or just shite?
It was interesting from a point of view of, and I've got to be very careful of what I say because I'm not actually supposed to talk about it. It was interesting from the point of view of being a prison guard.
Yeah.
Because when you join the infantry, you don't expect to be doing something like that. But I'm not saying any more about that. But it was pretty fucking boring because we was just doing 24 hours on, 24 hours off.
Yeah, years ago when the Maze prison was open, if you Christ, you old enough for that?
I'm not old enough for it, but I do know of it.
Yeah, so you do tours guarding that and the Crumlin Road.
Yeah.
And you're basically doing 9-hour stags, 3 hours at one tower, down, move to the next tower, 3 hours, move to the next tower, 3 hours, 9 hours off, 9 hours on, 9 hours off, and it was shit. It's the shittest tour you can ever do. But in the middle of that tour, you'll go to, or you used to have to go to Crumlin Road jail, and that one was quite good because not only could you see like the guys in the prison, because they used to come out and like fucking hoist stuff like that. When you were at the Maze, you were in these massive towers and you were well away from everyone. The only fun you got there was shining you had big searchlights on a tower, and you'd shine them through their windows to keep them awake at night. No, you wouldn't do that. It was naughty.
That's naughty. That's naughty.
Yeah. Or the A1 that was going M1, A1, I can't remember the road that used to go down the side. Used to like line the torch up on there and then flick it on just as there was a fucking truck going past. And it'd be like, the fucking road and that. But the Crumlin one, it was because we were right in the middle of Belfast. There was a tower out the back that had a metal shutter on the back, and you weren't allowed to open it because there was a block of flats like opposite it, and they used to zero the IRA used to zero their weapons on that plate. So if you opened that plate, there was a good chance you would get. And you'd be sitting in the tower, you'd hear it ping. You'd just like, fuck's sake, they're shooting at me again. And you're just like, is this a contact? They went, no, it's all right. You'll be all right. Just come down later on, type of thing. But there was the corner sanger. It was this like massive old guardhouse thing from Victorian time, and it overlooked one of the hospitals with the women's ward on it, and they used to flash the tits at you and all sorts. But they did it on purpose because then you were watching them and you weren't watching what was going across on the road or wherever, So what you're going to watch the traffic, or you're going to watch some bird flashing and knockers at you, I know what I was looking at. No, that was the last tour I did in Iraq. Was 2006, the back end of it. Did a half. Yeah, it was starting to get a bit naughty again then.
It was, it was starting to kick off, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you come back from that one.
Yeah, so
no,
we ended up doing 5 months out there, which we was only supposed to be doing 3, which was a
yeah,
bit of a shitter, but it is what it is. It's because we was sent out there as a gap filler. So it was basically there was a gap between one battle group taking over and another one battle group leaving and another battle group taking over.
yeah.
And so there's like, yeah, we'll just fucking fill it with random regiments. So that's how we ended up doing that. And then got back and pretty much, well, we had oh God, excuse me, we had 4 weeks leave and then straight into pre-deployment training for Iraq, Afghan.
So was the so I never did Afghan. Was the pre-deployment training for that different or very different to the pre-deployment training for Iraq?
Massively different.
Yeah.
Yeah. pre-deployment training for Iraq was well, quite heavy on the vehicle side, on snatches. Not an awful lot of like door kicking, as we say in the infantry.
Yeah.
There wasn't an awful lot of that. Surely because we knew exactly what we was going out to do, or well, we didn't know. The higher echelon knew exactly what we was going out to do. So it was, yeah. So all the training was based around around vehicles or holding positions. Like, so we'd go into like Copial down and then just hold a section of it and just build fortifications and stuff like that. From what I can remember,
Yeah.
yeah. And then where pre-deployment training for Afghan was proper infantry training, as in like section attacks, platoon attacks, company attacks, shit like that. We went to Kenya as part of that as well, which was a fucking nightmare because effectively we just did attack after attack after attack around a mountain. Yeah, that was gnarly.
Yeah,
But
I imagine.
yeah. So like, but before we deployed or even really got into pre-deployment training, so when on the 2007 tour of Afghan, the Grenadier Guards was doing the omelette training with the Afghan National Army.
Right.
So I don't know if you've ever seen the program Jack, a Soldier's Story. It was on the BBC, I think.
No, I'm not. I'll look it up.
Yeah, so yeah, Jack, a Soldier's Story. I imagine it's all over YouTube. But that's the Grenadier. That was Jack Mizon, who is that who's been followed in that program. He was in my platoon in Queen's
Right.
Company. But because they was doing the omelette team, there's only a certain amount of spaces. So they originally started off by sending 3 fighting sections from the 3 fighting companies over to the Royal Anglian Battle Group to be attached to one of their platoons within their companies. So
Right.
I was attached to 1st Battalion Royal Anglian, C Company 10 platoon, and then excuse me, I got a frog in my throat now. So as time went on, they realised, well, there's going to be like a company of blokes left over. So what they did is they made a fighting company out of the blokes that was left over from the Queen's 2 company and an incoming company, and basically just attached that whole company to the Viking battle group.
Right.
So yeah, there was quite a lot of guards over with the Royal Anglians, just because there wasn't any space for them within the guards, the Grenadier battle group.
So that was your introduction to Afghanistan. How was it?
Well, it's interesting. I I mean, I was only out there a month, for reasons I'll get into in a minute. But that month I was out there, every single day or pretty much every single day, we was picking fights with the enemy. aka the Taliban.
Yeah.
And where we was up in Kajaki, where like there was literally us, the ANA, a few mercs, and the Taliban. There was no civilian population.
No.
No. Effectively, everybody had moved south because we was the most northern fob.
Yeah.
If
Fucking
I
hell.
remember rightly, yeah. I think Kajaki was the most northern fob out in Helmand province. We was on the Kajaki Dam, which borders Helmand province and whatever the other province is next to it.
Yeah.
It's literally on the border. So as we was on the OPs up at the top of the mountains, one of the OPs was out looking over the reservoir,
Yeah.
and that was in the next province. If you like, to give you a bit of a sort of a graphic detail of whereabouts in Afghan we was. While we was up there, it was fun. I mean, like I said, picking fights with the Taliban daily. We also got a bit of downtime. We went swimming in the reservoir. Partaked in a bit of grenade fishing, which was quite interesting. I've never done that before. What else did we get up
I
to?
suppose in one way, if you've seen like all the civilians have left, if you've seen anyone knocking about in jammers, you knew they were the enemy.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was literally, our main objective up there was to keep or extend a 4 kilometre bubble around the dam. And that was going south into Kajaki Sofla. That was going north into Mazdarak and various little other villages just sort of north of the river. So yeah, that was our job. We would just go out, pick a fight with the Taliban to make sure that they aren't getting any closer. Make sure they knew we was there and we meant business. And while my 10 platoon Royal Anglers was out there, I think I say we, I had very little to do with it, but it was pushed out to about 6k the bubble. So, and we was going out on foot as well.
Fuck that.
Yeah. So we was tabbing at least 12k. Or I wasn't, because I'd been fucked up since by that point. But yeah, we was tabbing at least 8k out and back. While we was fucking going out patrol, and then you got all you running around. Well, in a firefight and shit.
Yeah.
My longest firefight was 37 hours.
Fucking hell. Wow.
Yeah, I mean that gets that reaction, and it's not the longest one out there. I know of people that's been in longer firefights than that. It was a very kinetic tour. And
daft question, right?
Yeah.
But this, it's just popped in my head. Sometimes things pop in your head and going to come out your mouth, and this probably shouldn't, right? But in that 37 hours, right? Did you get bored?
Yeah.
Right, good. I'm
Yeah,
just thinking fucking...
Because our infantry unit works is you've got one attack, one support, and one in reserve. So like not everybody's attacking at the same time.
Yeah.
So like you'll end up when you're in reserve, where you're getting rebombed up, and fucking ready to go. Getting your fucking water on board, getting your food on board. If situation dictates, get your head down. Ours wasn't really a thing because we was constantly bouncing, so we was always on the move. But there was times where we sat there for an hour or so, not really fucking knowing what the fuck's going on.
Just thinking, fucking, I'll get on with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was because although it was very much kick the shit out of the Taliban, it was also, we can't just fucking wipe them out. It's just not it's just not possible, and B, rules of fucking not necessarily rules of engagement, but like rules of warfare.
Yeah, and the hearts and minds type of thing as well. And You know, you've got to
to
be
a
seen to
degree,
be doing
yeah,
the right thing. Yeah, you've got to be seen to be doing,
yeah,
you know, the moral high ground, let's say, type of thing.
yeah. So like, yeah, even though we'd have a good old fucking scrap with them, and knowing that we've got, you know, I don't know, say 20 or 30, you know, shots on target, and you know, not necessarily saying I've got 20 to 30 shots on target, but let's say, you know, the platoon in a platoon attack had got, you know, taken 20 to 30 confirmed.
Yeah,
You know, we would allow them to, well, not necessarily allow them, but it was sort of, we're not going to bounce onto them because A, they're just too far away, and B, 9 times out of 10, by the time we get there, they're already gone anyway.
yeah,
So it was more of a, right, kick the fuck out of them and then just sit for a bit. And then if they come back at us, then we kick the shit out of them again and move forward and shit like that. I mean, most of the firefights was from a great distance. There was a few incidences where we was literally toe to toe with them. Like one of the first attacks I did in Kajaki Sofla was I was running. Well, I was tasked to because I was a point man in my section, so I was like the first one in and shit. And while we was down on patrol, we'd not been contacted, so we was at an end of a row of compounds, and we were I was tasked, or my section was tasked to sort of bounce onto the next row and start taking them, and it meant going over like a couple of irrigation ditches. When we did that, we went over, so it was two bridges because it was like the river was a bit of a Y, and the compound we was going to was in the middle of the Y. So we had to go over one bit of the river to then go over another bit of the
yeah.
river to get into it. And I mean, the rivers was literally 4 feet wide. It's not very big. It's
Yeah.
yeah. So the little bridges that was going over them was like little humpback bridges sort of things. And on the first go, we got to the second bridge, and as I got onto the middle of the second bridge, the compound was probably 5 meters in front of me, and I could see down the long side of the compound. And as I was fucking looking down there, running towards it, as I was going onto the little bridge, two Taliban fighters come out and fucking stopped and looked at me. I stopped, looked at them, and we were like, "Oh shit, there's actually fucking blokes here." And they must have been thinking the same for us.
Yeah.
And I was close enough to see the whites of his eyes, which was, yeah, not really where you want to be.
No.
But it was, yeah. And then it was just sort of that moment where we both sort of froze, that a big fucking machine gun down the river had opened up. So we fucking bomb burst back to the safe compound, and then we was like, right, okay, we know they're here. We're
Yeah.
fucking going in hot. So it was, yeah, first time I'd fucking done an assault live with the potential of rounds coming back at me. Which I fucking it was pretty fucking cool doing it, because you do feel like fucking
Right.
Superman.
Yeah.
It was, you know, it was pretty fucking cool, and it's, as an infantry, it's everything you dream it is.
Yeah, it's your job, isn't it? You know, it's your
Yeah,
job.
it's
Yeah.
it's fucking, it's wild, it's a wild hit of adrenaline, and you get very what's the word, like everything goes into slow motion.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite hard to describe the sensation, but everything just goes into sensation when you do that. And like, I just remember getting, you know, being stood at the corner of the compound, and I just remember checking my magazine, giving that a fucking a push to make sure that was in right, and I was like, right, safety off. We're fucking, it's go time, boys. And I got my countdown started, and he was like, "I got a grenade ready," and I was like, "Oh shit, no, I haven't." So I got grenade out, had my grenade ready in my left hand. We literally just a fly off lever. The matte black safety clip was off. The pin was out. It was ready to go. And he says, right, as soon as we get over that fucking river, you throw that grenade into that compound, and don't fucking let anything shoot back. And I was like, oh, fucking okay, fucking hell, right, okay, big boy time. Woo, right, let's go. And then I was thinking, well, how am I going to fucking throw this with a rifle in my hand, shoot, throw the grenade? I can remember just sort of being a bit confused by like, oh, no, I'm going to have to go fucking bolo here and just start fucking letting rounds off while I'm throwing a grenade. So I was, got the countdown, got to go, bounced around the corner. As soon as I was around the corner, I was fucking firing rounds into like doorways and stuff. And as I got to the river, threw the grenade over the little wall that we was going towards. A few more rounds while that was, in air, and just fucking got down behind the wall. Grenade went off, fucking jumped over a few more rounds in one of the other doorways, and as I turned to clear the first little room, I got the fucking dead man's click because I wasn't counting my fucking rounds. Luckily, my
adrenaline.
yeah, that's exactly it's the adrenaline. Yeah, luckily my 2IC, my section commander was actually my number 2, so he was literally on my shoulder. And as soon as I went click, he just pushed me out the fucking way, and he just let a load of fucking rounds in. And he says, "Fucking hell, don't let that ever happen again." And I was like, "I don't intend to," because it was fucking yeah. If there was Taliban in that first room, I would have been fucked. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
You learn by your mistakes, though.
Oh, you fucking did. Yeah, never happened again. But yeah, and that's why train. Well, I mean, I know that's in theatre training, but that's why training's important because you've gotta learn that muscle memory. But then then it got fucking a whole lot worse a couple of fucking weeks later. So because then we was doing another area up in Mazrak, and we was out there doing basically clear and deny operation, where we would find the Taliban trench and tunnel systems and basically just blow them up so they can't use them. And as we got there, it was like fucking. We sat on our FRV on the or the line of departure, or whatever the fuck it's called, at dusk, and as soon as the sun was up, we was off. We was over about 200 metre of poppy field to get to the compound. It had been mortared the day before, and as it had been where it had been mortared, it had sort of dropped one of the walls, so that was our entry point.
Right.
And as I went in scrambled over the rubble and got into the compound, started clearing rooms. Me and my number 2 just fucking working through them. So then the rest of the platoon could sort of join us. Although they was already on the route, you just sort of you methodically go through the rooms. You do it in pairs, so you'll have one pair do the first room, another pair do the second room. By the time you've done your room, you bounce onto the third room, and so on like that. So you sort of pepper potting through rooms. Anyway, by the time I'd got to the third room, there was a hole in the back of it, and it was that point where I didn't freeze. I just stayed where I was, because if I fucked off, someone's coming through that hole, and
Right.
I don't like that. I don't like where the Taliban would be coming behind us. So I fucking flagged it up and said, nope, there's a hole, I'm staying. And then the rest of the platoon sort of was in the compound by that point, and they started clearing the rest of it. And then the fucking platoon signaller fucking went through the wrong fucking doorway, and he got fucking slotted twice, because as he walked through the wrong doorway, which was, so if you was to put it on a map, say he's gone out we went in an eastern wall, he went through a doorway on the northern side that hadn't been cleared. He went looking for the platoon commander, which he was going the wrong fucking way about it. And anyway, he went through his fucking doorway, and Taliban was sat there waiting in a full ambush position. And he got 2 rounds, one through his fleshy part of his love handles, and the other one sort of bounced off the top of his radio and went through his, like, the fleshy bit above his collarbone.
So he was fucking lucky, right? Really lucky.
Yeah, didn't hit anything vital. Although he was in a bit of a fucking state, he didn't hit didn't hit anything vital, so he was extremely lucky. And then that was contact initiated, and the fucking world imploded. It was fucking chaos, because the Taliban was literally 10 meters away. It was just fucking carnage. There was blokes just fucking lobbing grenades over walls. They was lobbing grenades at us. It was just fucking carnage, and all that was going on while I was still sat or kneeling, looking at this fucking hole, thinking there's going to be a grenade roll through there in a second. There's going to be a fucking grenade. So I kept using. So I had like the tactical torch that was on my weapon system. So I with the laser torch. Yeah, I don't know how to fucking describe it, but yeah, I had one of them on my weapon. So I constantly I had the laser constantly pointing at that fucking hole, so he could see, whoever the fuck was in there could see that there was a laser being
There's
pointed
someone
at it.
outside, yeah.
Yeah, and then every now and then I'd just sort of flash my light on just to sort of make him properly aware, just in case he hadn't seen the laser. But yeah, anyway, while I was sat there, the platoon commander decided that we was going to bounce on, take the big compound. There was two of the other sections up and supporting fire up on the roofs of the compound. And then so we was known as suicide section, because every time they wanted a job doing, our section commander volunteered us for it, which is fine because it meant we got all the fucking action. But at the same time, it was pretty fucking wild. So yeah, we was volunteered for bouncing forward. And it was like, Harry, get the fuck over here. And I was like, I'm not fucking moving because I'm still looking at this hole. Get me a replacement, then I'll move. Anyways, one of the LMG gunners from one of the other sections come over, and he started watching the hole. And then I started getting my brief from my platoon sergeant, and he was like, "Yeah, right." So because the doorway was just an open doorway, there's no door on it, just an open doorway. And he was looking at the doorway, and he says, "Right, see the big compound across the courtyard? That's what you're going for." And I was like, "Hang on a minute. There was a hole. That hole goes somewhere." Stuck my head out, saw like a really small compound, which was probably 2 meters by 2 meters, big, and sort of made the calculations in my head. Well, that hole must go to that compound. I think there's someone in there. Anyway, flagged that up to my platoon sergeant. Says, "Look, son, there's a hole in the fucking back of that room there. It goes to that small compound. I'm sure of it. Do you want me to clear the small compound first, to then bounce onto the big one?" And he was like, "No, don't fucking worry about it. The compound's too small. There's gonna be fucking no one in there. Just get to the big one, fucking, and kill anything that's fucking in there." And I was like, "Oh, right, okay." And he's like, "Don't fucking butt me. Just get the fuck on with your job." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Right, time to put my fucking big boy pants on." And and then got the countdown, got the rapid fire from the supporting section, and as I ran out the doorway, took a hard left down the wall in front of the compound where we was, and then ran directly in front of the doorway of the small compound. The Taliban was in there waiting, and as I ran past the doorway, they opened up, and the first round went through my helmet, in my temple, and bounced out the bottom of my eye socket, knocking me clean off my fucking feet. The rest of my section then ducked in behind the wall of the small compound, and they was just tossing frag grenades over the wall. And as they was doing that, I was on my hands and knees on the floor in front of the doorway. I caught a bit of frag grenade in my arse cheek. Yeah. So yeah, that was a bit of a running joke for a few years after that was that I was blood brothers with the Taliban that shot me, because we turned him to pink mist.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there wasn't an awful lot of that lad left, if I'm honest. But yeah, he was fucked. But as I was on my hands and knees, I was like, "Holy shit, what the fuck was that?" Because at the time, I thought an RPG had hit the wall I was running alongside, because the Taliban was well known for using RPGs at fucking close quarters, and I thought the RPG had hit the wall, and then the cone, the cone blast had come through the wall and taken half my face off. So as I was on my hands and knees, I was looking down at me fucking at the floor, and my first reaction was, "Oh shit! I better get my rifle." Looked up at my rifle, and it was just out of arm's reach. As I went to reach for it, about 30 enemy rounds bounced off it, and I was like, "Do you know what? No, I don't think I need that anymore. I'm just going to leave that there for a second. Let me just fucking assess the situation." At that point, I realised that my face was numb, and I was like, "Fuck, right, hang on, what the fuck's going on here?" Because I was also a team medic as well, so
Right.
triaging stuff, that was all going through my head. So I was like, right, let's just fucking, feel my face. So I was feeling my face while looking at the floor, and I was like, that's fucking odd. I can't feel any of that. That's fucking mental. And as I pulled my hand away from my face, that's when I saw the blood coming off my face from the other eye. Yeah. Also, while I was fucking down there, I was checking my legs and I was thinking, right, I need to get the fuck out of here. I had a quick look around and realised that there's 3 enemy positions around me. I need to get the fuck out of here. They're typical tactics to injure someone, but don't kill him. I don't think they was quite expecting me to take a 7.62 to the noggin and still be okay. But anyway, so the tactics was, if there's an injured soldier, the injured Brit, just fucking shoot around them so that more people come out and get him. Typical fucking war tactics. And then that wasn't the case, because I was like, yeah, I am fucked if I stay here. I'm getting the fuck out of here. So I checked my legs. As I checked my legs, green tracer went through my trousers. Not close enough to penetrate my skin, but close enough to burn it. And I was like, oh, fuck me, that was close. And I was like, yeah, my legs are still fucking working. I can still feel my toes. I can still wiggle my toes. Right, I'm getting up. I'm getting going. I'm getting gone. And got up onto my feet. And by that point, I'd sort of somehow ended up on the wrong side of the doorway, where all the fucking shit's coming out. And the section commander from the other section on the roof that was giving supporting fire, they bear in mind, like, this hole is like 2 meters away from me. They was fucking rinsing into it. Like, there must have been 400 rounds go into that fucking hole while I was fucking on the deck next to it. But yeah, the section commander from the other section gave me a countdown. 3, 2. I wasn't waiting for fucking go. I went on 1. And as I went on 1, a red phosphorus grenade went off in the compound I was shot from, and that got me just underneath my nose and burnt all my airways.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, so that was a fucking treat. And then so I'd managed to get back, and in the process of running back, bear in mind it's probably less than 20 meters. I've managed to get my my morphine EpiPen out of my trouser pocket, my mat pocket out of my trousers. Primed it, had it ready to fucking go, and just as I ran back into the safe compound where the rest of the platoon was, I was just about to fucking jab it into my leg, thinking, fucking get in, I'm getting a trip. As where the combat doctor that was attached to us out on the ground, he fucking grabbed my arm and he says, yeah, you can't have that, mate, you're an head injury. I was like, oh, fuck's sake. Yeah, I was gutted. So yeah, and then it was pretty wild that day. After getting shot and getting back to the doctor, because of my breathing issues, he thought I'd got a sucking chest wound as well. So helmet was off, first field dressing on my helmet, body armour was off, looking for my sucking chest wound, of which there wasn't. It was just the burns to my airways. I was in a pretty bad state. I've spoken to that doctor since, and he said, yeah, you was fucked. Like, how the fuck we're having it. So this conversation was about 5 years after our tour of Afghan, and he was saying, how the fuck we're having this conversation, I do not know, because I thought you was a goner.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, fucking hell, sweet, nice. Cheers for staying positive, bro.
Yeah.
And
thanks for the confidence.
Yeah, so he was pretty fucking brutal about it. Yeah. After the first field dressing and triaging, like the decision was made, we need to get the fuck out of here. So then they started a tactical withdrawal, of which by that point I was in and out of consciousness with blood loss.
Yeah.
Don't remember. Oh, sorry, I've missed a massive fucking part of that out. So while I was on the fucking deck, getting triaged by the doctor and like first aid, the platoon sergeant was cutting around wondering because he'd been told there was a casualty, and he didn't know where the fucking casualty was. He was looking for the casualty to get the casualty back. He didn't realise I was the casualty. So he was fucking running around like, where the fuck's the casualty? And I was like, son, I'm here. But because of the airways, I couldn't really talk very well. And then he was like, what the fuck is going on? And I was trying to explain to him about the 3 enemy positions that were shooting on me, or shooting at me and us. But because of the burnt airways, I couldn't fucking say that. So I ended up drawing a map in the sand next to me to try to get that information back. And now I thought I'd done it with my finger, but apparently I picked up an empty case and I was doing it with an empty case. But yeah, I don't know. Read into that what you will. So then that information got passed on to platoon sergeant, or the platoon sergeant received that information, passed that on to the platoon commander, and the decision was made to, we're fucking out of here. Like, this is hot, like ridiculously hot. And then they withdrew. And while I was getting casevaced, they took another 2 casualties from one of the other platoons. Apparently, and I don't know how true this is, but I was told one of the lads just went to fire his UGL but didn't check his muzzle clearance and just peppered the 2 blokes in front of him. But again, I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah.
I might be getting a bit confused. But so they took another 2 casualties from the other platoon. As I was getting casevaced, the platoon sergeant was carrying me on his day sack. He took 2 rounds in his back plate of his body armour as we was trekking back over the 200 metre poppy field. Them rounds was about 3 inches underneath my chest. Bear in mind, I had no body armour, no helmet, or fucking anything on me. So that was pretty fucking wild. And then I woke up. So I woke up when that happened because he fell over. He obviously got knocked over. And I remember waking up and looking up poppy heads, thinking, the fuck is going on here? Because all I could see was the poppy heads exploding. And now, at the time, I didn't really fucking know what the fuck was going on. Obviously, head injury, blood loss, a lot of confusion. So I didn't really fucking put 2 and 2 together. But apparently that was the rounds going through the poppy field, through the poppies from the Taliban. So that was pretty fucking close call. And then what else? So then I passed out again. They carried on casevacing me. Woke up again when they put me on the floor to try and work out how to get me down the cliff wadi into the bottom of the wadi where the casevac vehicle was. And I woke up and I was like, casevac vehicle. I need to be in that. So I just fucking jumped down this 9-foot cliff. Luckily, the driver fucking caught me because I had fuck all on me. I was really light. Luckily he caught me and got me got me on my feet and sort of chaperoned me to the Viking. I think a Viking vehicle. No, Viking's a tracked one. I can't remember. It was the 6-wheeler fucking thing that we had. And I remember walking onto the back of it, and there was a stretcher in the middle with the 2 benches either side. And Gordon, the signaller who'd been fucking shot, he was already there, as well as one of the other casualties. And they was sort of sat on the side. And I remember saying to Gordon, I says, Gordon, you need to get yourself on the stretcher, mate. You're in shit state. You're fucking far worse than me. And his face was white. And he fucking turned to me and just gave me fucking look of horror and said, "No, Harry, you need to get on the stretcher." And I was just like, "Oh fuck!" And that was the first realization of how shit the situation was.
Right.
That was my first indication of how fucked up I was. So
How much pain
I
were you in?
none.
No.
No, my arse cheek was hurting a bit, but that was about it. Yeah, because with my face, either side of your nose, between your nose and your cheekbone, is your two main nerve ended. Both either side of your nose is main nerves that
Yeah.
run the feeling for your whole face. And what it had done is severed that. So like my whole face was just numb.
I suppose that was kind of lucky in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it also to do with the fact that 7.62 had gone through my noggin. It caused quite a bit of fucking drama, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, like, my face didn't hurt at all. It was just numb.
Wow.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
Like when I got to the doctor, I was fucking whinging about my arse cheek because he was looking for like sucking chest wounds and fucking sorting my head out and stuff. And I was like, no, fucking bollocks to that. I sort my arse cheek out. I got something in my arse. So like, my fucking arse cheek's killing. And he was like, yeah, that's the least of my problems. I was like, okay. But my
Yeah.
arse cheek hurts. Yeah. I was pretty adamant that he needed to sort my arse cheek out, apparently. But yeah. Yeah, and then got back to the helipad, sat there and waited for a Chinook to come in with the Merc team on. While I was sat there, so where the dam, there's a pipe. I'm not quite sure why there's a pipe, but there's a fucking massive pipe, probably 3 foot in diameter, pipe with water going through it. That coming out of the hydroelectric plant or something. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't fucking know. I just know there's a pipe with water going through it. So I was sat on that, pretty fucking conscious and just having a good time. As daft as that sounds, the only chick that was attached to us, an artillery chick who was flying the drones. She
Right.
was like, because everybody that was in camp was sort of like, oh shit, we've had a bad day, we've got fucking 5 blokes coming in. So they was all sort of ushered down to the helipad for like to administer first aid and stabilise and help help stretcher running and shit like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, while I was down there, she was there, and I was just fucking chatting her up. I can remember chatting her up, and I don't know what her fucking name was, but I was at the time my fiance was called Lucy. So I was just like, oh, can I call you Lucy? Because that's the name of my fiance. But you're really fit, and do you want to get get a fucking pint when we get back and this and that, like proper fucking going to town. Like, and she's just like, yeah, sure, like, whatever. Like, I have fucking no idea what's going on. But yeah, okay, Alex. Yeah, that's fucking amazing. Yeah, we do whatever the fuck you want. Yeah, and then the fucking Chinook come in, and because you got to get the thumbs up from the Chinook crew, ain't you? Before you approach it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was fucking waiting for that. As soon as the back wheels was on the floor, I was walking towards it. Apparently, the blades was about a foot above my head. Yeah, I should have probably waited. Yeah, so yeah, because at that point I had realised how fucked I was, and I was like, nope, I want the fuck out of here now.
Yeah.
So as soon as the back wheels of the Chinook was on the ground, I was fucking walking towards it, and I don't know if the pilot had fucking noticed, but he just slammed the front down, so he didn't take my fucking head off. Yeah, yeah, walked onto the back of the Chinook, sat in one of the fucking like the netting seats. Got strapped in by the air crew, and just as he was about to walk off and strap the next lad in, because they knew they had a T1 with them coming on, but they didn't, because I was walking, they didn't realise I was the T1. But yeah, so I walked on, sat down, and he's just strapped me in. And then as he went to go and fucking strap the next lad in and sort the T1 out, he sort of, as he got up, I sort of grabbed him, hey, and he's like, "What's up, mate? What's up? What can I do? What can I help you with?" I was like, "You got any fucking pain relief? My head's killing me." And that's the last thing I remember saying to anybody out in Afghan.
Okay.
Yeah, woke up 6 days later in a drug-induced coma. Well, had a 6-day drug-induced coma. Woke up in Birmingham, Queen Elizabeth
Wow.
Hospital, which fucking confused me even more because my mum was there, and at the time my mum didn't. Well, I don't think she's got a passport now, but she didn't have a passport back then. So, and I knew that, and I was just like, "How the fuck are you here, mum?" And she was like, "What the fuck are you on about?" I was like, "How the fuck are you here? You do not have a passport. How have you gone across the fucking globe?" She's like, "Where the fuck do you think we are?" I was like, "Well, we're in Pakistan, aren't we?" And she was like, "Oh, fuck's sake." Being Birmingham, it's all Asian nurses and doctors. But yeah, apparently, my mum turned around to the fucking nurse. She's like, "Oh, I'm really sorry," and the nurse was absolutely fucking fine with it. She was like, No, we're used to it. It's fine." Like they go to sleep in one country and wake up in another. But yeah, another fucking claim to fame is I shut Birmingham International Airport down for 4 hours because
Well, it was flown in.
I was getting flown in because I was too unstable because I flatlined twice on the flight back.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so they had to revive me twice. And because of that, the decision was made to fly me into Birmingham International Airport rather than Bryce Norton, because it was closer. Because from what I've been told, is they genuinely wasn't expecting me to pull through, so they wanted to get me to the hospital so my mum could see me while I still had an inverted commas a heartbeat. So yeah, so they flew me into Birmingham. Well, they were flying me into Birmingham, and because I'd flatlined, I think I was too unstable to change altitude, so they was just circling around Birmingham International Airport for 4 hours while they was trying to stabilise me on the flight. Because of that, they just shut all in and outgoing flights until I was stable, and then when I was stable, the fucking Herc just dipped his nose and stuck it on the fucking tarmac, and there was an ambulance waiting with police escort on the tarmac, of which they fucking blued and tooed me through Birmingham, and one of the coppers come to see me while I was in hospital, actually, and he said that because I wasn't awake when he come and see me, I was still in my coma, but he was a soldier before he joined the police, and he, because of that doesn't happen very often at Birmingham International Airport through centre of Birmingham. It must have hit him pretty hard or something. But anyway, he come and see me after the day I got there, and apparently said to me, "Mum, at the time I hold the record for going the fastest through Birmingham, because like I had a police escort, almost like the fucking Prime Minister. Like they were shutting roads down and moving traffic out of the way with the police escort, so the ambulance could just fucking gun it all the way through from airport to Queen Elizabeth Hospital."
Fucking hell.
Yeah, because they were genuinely like, "Well, we don't know if he's going to fucking live," so yeah.
Jeez, I mean, you wouldn't. I mean, listening to you talking about the actual incident, you're quite blasé about it and stuff like that, saying that you didn't feel any pain, it was all numb and all that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, fucking hell, he's been dead lucky. I mean, he's not been lucky; he's been fucking shot. But I'm thinking to myself,
Yeah.
he's done well. He's done really lucky. And then for you
Yeah.
to say that, I think, fucking hell, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's a bit of a fucking wild day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Because of how unstable I was, when I got to Camp Bastion Field Hospital, they decided, nope, we're getting this fucking lad out of it, and we're fucking sending him home because he can get far better treatment at home than here, because they've got all the right facilities and stuff. So they put a med flight on specifically for me. Obviously, they filled it with the rest of the lads, because one of the lads that was in, because after I was woken up at my 6-day coma, I was moved over to Selly Oak Hospital, the S4 ward, which was the military recovery unit. While I was there was a couple of lads that was on my flight, and they come over and says, "Oh, fucking hell, nice to see you doing better, mate. Like last time we saw you, you was in a bit of a fucking shit state." And I was like, "Sweet, yeah,
Cheers.
yeah, cheers, man. Cheers for looking after us." So that was nice. So they put a flight on to get me home because they, like I said, they wasn't sure I was going to pull through.
Bloody hell.
They're not. They don't normally get gunshot wounds to the head
And
at a
people
hospital.
surviving. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the survival rate of a gunshot to the head is 5%.
You know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now that is a stat that I've taken from America. So that's probably based on, I don't know, fucking a 9mm round or something that doesn't have an awful lot of push behind it.
Yeah, it doesn't have that kinetic energy like a 7.62.
Yeah, so like the likelihood of me surviving is probably less than 5%. Probably say it's something like 3% survival rate.
So how did the road to recovery begin?
Well, I spent 2.5 weeks in S4 ward, Selly Oak. That was quite interesting. Because that was the first time I looked at the mirror through one eye, and
Right.
at the time my face was still quite swollen, so it was a bit like I had to psych myself up to do it. I do remember that. I remember sitting in the bed, and my catheter had been taken out, and I was on like a morphine drip. So I had like a little thing with me. And I remember I need to go for a piss, but there'll be a mirror in there. You're gonna have to look at yourself in the mirror, Alex. And I remember psyching myself up for it. I was like, no, just fucking do it. It can't be that bad. You're fucking breathing. You're not really smiling at the minute, but you're breathing. Go fucking do it. It's not going to be that bad. Anyway, walked in. I was like, holy shit, it's not actually that bad. Just sort of like giggling myself like that. I'm fucking psyching myself up for this. It's not that bad. Because there was like a tiny little fucking hole in my temple, like a scab in my, like the size of a 7.62. I've got a scar there now, but it's literally just like a scab, a round scab on my temple and a bit of swelling. It's like it's fuck all. So I don't know why the fuck I was having to fucking gear myself up for that, but yeah. And then after that 2.5 week, they sent me home on sick leave, and that's when the real challenges fucking began because PTSD hit me like a fucking freight train. I had survivor's guilt. I had fucking everything. I was fucked. Hit alcohol like a fucking train. To try and cope. What hit me the hardest is I rang the sat phone. I'd managed to get the number for the sat phone of where my boys was at Kajakli, and I rang it, and it just so happened my best mate had it in his hand, and he obviously was a bit fucking confused because you normally use them for ringing out. You don't normally accept. Don't normally get a fucking number come in. And he was like, "Oh, the fuck!" So we answered it, and I was like, "Oh, you're all right." And he's like, "Hello." I was like, "Chris, I'll not drop his second name, but yeah, Chris, you're all right." And he's like, "Who the fuck is this?" I was like, "It's fucking Alex, you dickhead." And he was like, "What?" And there was like a really long pause of confusion because they'd been told that I'd died.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
That'd be like a really weird call. I'm calling you from the inside.
Yeah. So you can imagine that confusion because it was a confusion with the communications back to the fob because they'd been told, well, the communication had come through that had flatlined,
right,
but not recovered. So they basically been told that I'd died on the way back. So to then get a phone call from me. It was like proper fucking confusing for him. So yeah, he was a bit like, well, you're fucking dead. This is a fucking, and he even said, is this a fucking dream? Am I having a nightmare? The fuck? I was like, no, like, I don't know what you've been told. I'm not dead. I'm back at home in Lincoln. I'm at my mum's house. Yeah, I just thought I'd ring you boys up to sort of check in and let you know I'm all right. And they were like, fuck off. No, you're having me on. Anyway, went and found one of the platoon sergeant, and you know when someone pulls the phone away from their face, and you can hear him talking to someone. Yeah, he was saying, "I've got fucking Harry on the phone," and the platoon sergeant was like, "What? What do you mean you got fucking Harry? He's dead. The fuck?" And there's like one of the fucking conversations. I was like, "Yeah, I don't know if I'm fucking me. It's just fucking. Is it like I'm not dreaming, am I?" And the platoon sergeant was like, "No, you fucking not. Give me the phone." Anyway, he fucking picked the phone up, and he was like, "Harry, are you not dead?" And I was like, "No, I'm fucking not. Like, what the fuck?" So it's like a really comical fucking conversation. So they passed the phone round to the around the whole my section to start with, and then the rest of the platoon, whoever was about. But it was that was a very surreal conversation.
Well, I imagine that would have been a hell of a morale booster for them and you.
Yeah. So it was a good morale boost for them, because obviously they was all moping around thinking that I died, but but for me, it was good just to hear their voices and say, let them know that I'm okay. But at the same time, not at the same time, but after the phone call, I got a massive fucking bollocking because of the cost of the call. I was on the call for about an hour. From a landline to a sat phone, it's quite pricey back then. So my mum was not fucking happy. But yeah. So there was sort of fucking silver lining and shit. So after that, I was just fucking trying to find fucking shit to do with myself. I was back and forth to hospital because the bullet hadn't taken the eye clean out; it just squished it and filled it with blood. So I was back and forth to hospital in Birmingham at an eye specialist where they were doing tests and stuff to see if they could recover any of the sight. It was determined, it's fucked. It's going to cause more damage leaving it in than trying to sort it out, than taking it out. So we're going to take it out. Then it's about 3 months after I got shot that I had my eye out. Which is pretty fucking.
So I mean, obviously, I can sit here and do this, and I'm never going to experience what you've gone through. But how do you acclimatise to just having the vision out of one eye?
Depth perception's a weird one. You don't realise how much you rely on it until you lose it. But it wasn't the distance as such that I struggled with. Short distances. So like when I'm going to pick a glass up, I have to go straight at it with an open hand until I feel the glass in my hand to then close. It was more when I got back to driving, so I had an assessment with the driving instructor to make sure that I was still fucking safe to drive. Let the DVLA know, let my insurance know, did everything I fucking possibly could to get that fucking squared away. But when it come to driving, it was, will my vehicle of the size, I don't know, because I can't see past basically the driver's side wing mirror.
Yeah.
That was just out of my field of view. So I had no recollection. I have no perception.
Yeah, you've lost half your peripheral vision, haven't you? So.
Yeah. So I had no sort of idea of how wide my vehicle was in compared to how wide the gap I'm going for is. So no pun intended. I literally closed my eyes and just went for it. Yeah. And then sometimes I still do that now.
Remind me never to drive head on towards you.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. 3 3 days out of getting out of hospital, I rolled my car. Because I brought a brand new fucking, what is it, Chevrolet Kalos, an SE, just before I went to Afghan, in the intention that my Afghan bonus would have paid it off. Because it was only a little cheap motor, but it was brand new. While I was out in Afghan and at hospital, it was sat in camp. So as soon as I'd literally, the day, I think I went through because I was very conscious of my freedom when getting home. And I said to my mum while I was in hospital, I said, "When day one we get home, I want the driving instructor to turn up and we're going through going through an assessment." And she was like, "Yeah, absolutely fucking agree with you." So by the end of day one of being at home, well, technically it was day two, because the day I got home was about lunchtime, and then because my mum put a surprise party, return party on for us, and then so the day after was when the instructor turned up, and by the end of that day I had everything fucking squared away that I needed to have squared away to be able to drive again, apart from the fact that my car was in Purbright, which was a bit of a fucking pain in the ass. So then the next day, me, my mum, and my sister all drove down to Purbright, and my sister, because my mum was very, well, no, I'd prefer it if your sister drove it back up the motorway and stuff, because motorways I mean, I still struggle with motorways nowadays, just because of the peripheral vision issue. But yeah, so my sister drove it back to her house. She lives in Bardney, which is just outside Lincoln. By the time we'd gone down, got into camp, picked the car up, got out of camp, got back up to Lincolnshire, it was like 10 o'clock at night. So then I fucking I got back to my sister's house. My mum went back to her house, and I slept the night at our sister's house and had a few drinks with her and stuff. And then the next day, I was driving back about just after lunchtime, I think it was, and it was absolutely fucking heshing down, fucking blowing a gale. It blow on a particular corner on the way from Bardney to Lincoln. There's just a really shit S bend that goes around an house, and there was loads of blossom all over the corner, and it was obviously wet. So as I'd hit it, I'll hold my hands up. I'm probably going a bit too fast for the conditions, but yeah, as I hit that corner, the front end, back end slid out, so I counter steered to then just fishtailing it down the fucking road, and eventually it fucking spun it all the way around into a field, it's a tree, and onto its side. Yeah, that was an awkward conversation with my mum, because because I had to find my phone. Yeah, I had to find my mobile phone at the time, because I put it in like the door closey bit. I put it in there, and as I'd gone up onto the side, it had been pinged out, so I had to go fucking finding it in the car. So
but you weren't there or anything like that. No one else involved out. So
no, there was no one else involved. The car was a write-off, and the only injury I had is I caught my index finger. How the fuck I caught my index finger, I have absolutely no idea. But yeah. So then, that was like fucking 3 days out of hospital. So that was pretty fucking wild. What other random shits happened? I don't know. Yeah.
So how was the recovery going after that? How did the army deal with you?
Effectively, while I was on sick leave, and this is not through no fault of the army, so I don't want to throw shade. I just got forgotten about.
Yeah.
Because I was attached to the Royal Anglians, I was down on their casualty list rather than the Grenadiers. Now, obviously, I'd gone back to the Grenadiers, inverted commas, gone back. I was on sick leave, but yeah, my place of work had gone back to the Grenadiers, of which they was all coming back from their tour, which was a fucking kinetic one as well. And it was just it wasn't so much swept under the carpet. It was just we've got shit to do. Right, okay, let's fucking, they was the company. Oh, excuse me. The company commander was doing what he needed to do as a company commander. The company sergeant major was doing his job. The company clerk was doing her job. Everybody was doing their job. It's just, there was no note or, even on roll call, after the rest of my section had got back with the Grens, like even on roll call, they just breezed past my name. I don't know why, but apparently they weren't even shouting, calling my name out on roll calls. So I don't know if it was because whoever was taking the roll call was like, oh yeah, he's on sick leave, and just didn't think out of it, or whatever, whatever reason. So yeah, every now and then when someone had realised, oh shit, Harrison, what the fuck, is he, what the fuck, so they every now and then I'd get a phone call and say, oh yeah, just checking in, making sure you're all right, is there anything you need, is there anything we can do, we're here if you want, just let us know. And then as time went on, about a year after getting shot is when the medical discharge started coming into play. So yeah, there was. Yeah, I was going back to camp for like one day and one night, and then driving home, just to fill out some paperwork, and then going through assessments. At that point I was full blown. I want out of fucking army. Not fucking interested. They tried doing a get back to work scheme where they was going to put me in the stores. My head was no. If I can't be an infantry, I don't want to be in the army. Not fucking interested. Get me out. So, fucking really started going down the fucking dark hole of depression. Had a few attempts at ending it because just natural fucking deceleration of fucking life. It was I just couldn't fucking handle what had gone on. It's just but yeah, so it just fucking really hit me hard, and I just wanted a way out. That's why I turned to alcohol. That's why I was dabbling in a bit of drugs, nothing hot, heavy, but I was dabbling and just sort of trying to find escapes and wasn't finding it because every time I woke up in the morning, it'd still be there. So yeah, so that's how I ended up, standing on a bridge, and it was meant to be that because it was a real awakening. The first time I jumped out of a moving vehicle after my mum picked me up because I used to go out in town, get pissed up, and then just find the biggest bloke in the club and just fucking knock him out and just have a fight with him, just to get some sort of adrenaline hit.
Get some adrenaline, yeah.
Yeah. And then one night I just got too fucking drunk and just fucking piled in, to which all the bouncers knew who I was anyway. All the local bobbies who did the night shift knew who I was. I think that, I don't know. Well, the bouncers used to pick my phone up and just dial mum, and mum used to come get me. And she picked me up this night, and I just so happened to be out with my sister. And I fucking full blown lost it. So I was just like, nope, I'm fucking out, and I just threw myself out of a moving vehicle at about 60 miles an hour. But because I was drunk, all it did is give me a few fucking scuffs on my elbows and my knees. It didn't fucking do anything because I just fucking like jelly.
Yeah, you just bounced.
Yeah, it just bounced. Yeah. Yeah, and then a second time I was stood on. I'd been out in the piss again. And I was stood on a fucking bridge because we've got up in Lincoln. There's a bridge that goes over the bypass, quite high, and it goes over obviously a dual carriageway. It's known as Suicide Bridge up here. And I found myself stood on that, sat on the top thingy, on the top of the fucking railings, just looking down to impending doom. And I can't fucking for the life of me find the woman, and I'm not even sure if she was fucking real, if I'm honest.
Right.
But at the time, I was sat there early hours of the morning, just some random old woman walking a dog, walked past and don't want to do that, mate. You'll regret it. And I was just like, and as I turned around, there's a gust of wind that pushed me back onto the
Fucking hell. I've just got fucking goosebumps, man.
Yeah, I said to our mum, because obviously the coppers turned up, and they took me home, and mum was like, "What the fucking hell are you doing? Well, fucking don't be doing shit like that. All the shit we've been through, all the fucking mum spiel." And I said to her, "Mum, says, who's the woman? Who was the woman?" And the coppers was still there at that point, and the coppers was like, "What woman? Who the fuck are you on about?" I was like, "The woman with the dog. She was walking a dog. She said something at the time. I didn't really click onto what she said, because I was fucking levered. And she said something to me, and it turned me around, and I fell off. And they were like, "There was no fucking woman there. You was just in a fucking pile on the floor." And I was like, I don't know if I'm fucking hallucinating shit now. So yeah, I don't know if there was a woman or I don't
It's
know.
just your own psyche, just yourself
Yeah,
talking to yourself.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah,
But it worked.
whatever the fuck it was, it worked. So it was After a few years, of, that fucking incident, I was talking about it again with our mum, and it's like, just describe what she looked like, and anyway, I was fucking describing, fucking short curly hair, quite short, very slender, not an awful lot of fucking weight on her. Remember because I can remember, I can vision it, I can see the picture of her now. And anyway, our mum turned around and says, "Oh, that sounds like Auntie Harrison. Not Auntie. That sounds like Nana Harrison."
Fucking hell.
Yeah, I was just like, "What the fuck are you on about?" It's just like you're Nana Harrison, which died when I was really fucking young. But she
Fucking
was my
hair is stood up on my arms, mate.
she was my fucking rock when I was a youngster, because I got bullied quite a lot at school. My brother used to try and kill me quite a lot. Yeah, I had a fucking shit childhood, and she was my fucking absolute stable. So after I fucking described her, and she was like, "Oh, that sounds like your Nana Harrison." I was just like, "Nah, I can remember pictures." I was looking at pictures of Nana Harrison, and I was just like, "No." Yeah, the similarities, but it wasn't her. It just wasn't. And
That's fucking freaky, that though, mate.
yeah. So yeah, that's why I said I don't know if it was just me fucking hallucinating, or whether
well
there
be.
was something, or whether there wasn't something. I don't fucking know. The bonus of being pissed off is you can't really fucking remember everything.
Yeah, get that.
Yeah. But yeah, and
So
then,
what dragged you out of it then? What got you?
it was that night on the bridge that was a real awakening, and then also, I mean, it didn't start straight away. The sorting my shit out. I was still heavily drinking, and my mum got to the point where she just had a fucking enough of it. So she fucking come in and whipped me out of bed. So just fucking slapped me. And she's like, "Come on, you get the fuck up. Can't be doing this every night." Because she was, obviously coming in at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, sometimes even later. Waking her up and shit. So she was fucking mardy as fuck. So she fucking had enough. She snapped, give me a slap. And then it carried on for a little longer. And then she was like, "Right." Because at the time, not that I'm bragging, because I'm not. I tended to bring back different women every fucking night, apparently. Most of which I don't fucking remember. But anyway, the night that. So there was a particular night that. So my mum used to have dogs. So every time I brought a woman back, the dogs would go fucking mad. And anyway, the one night that the dogs didn't go mad, she thought, I fucking got him. He's got no fucking woman in there. We'll have him. Anyway, it turns out that I did have a woman in there, and that woman is now my missus. So she fucking walked in, pulled the fucking covers off us. It's like, "Right, get the fuck." Get on my legs and walked out.
Yeah. Hello.
My missus was like, "Yeah. Hi." Hi, Alex's mum. Yeah. But yeah, so that was a bit of a fucking awkward start to the relationship. But then, then she fell pregnant very fucking quickly. And that was what really snapped me out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, oh shit, okay. Because I've always wanted kids anyway. But it was fucking go time. It was at this point, I was still in the army. I was still going through the recovery side of it, the recovery medical discharge side of it. But she fell pregnant, and it was like, oh shit, okay, right. So we need to get an house. We need to fucking get that house sorted, livable. Right, fuck, okay, right. So on the market, let's fucking go. Found the house of which we're still living in now, which is fucking mega. 16 years down the line. Because we picked the keys up to this place the day after my oldest was born. So so it's her birthday in a couple of weeks. So literally 16 years we've lived there. If walls could talk, it's seen some fucking shit as this house. Yeah, but
I can
what
imagine.
happened? Yeah, so as I got out of the army in 2009, it took a full 18 months to go from getting shot to getting out. It was pretty fucking wild. I struggled like fuck holding the job down. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, bouncing from job to job. I was very fortunate in the fact that I got a pension.
Right.
Or guaranteed income payment is actually called. But yeah, I was very fortunate in the fact that kicked in straight away. And it was enough to live on. So jobs, yes, they was important because I had a fucking family to support, but also it was finding that balance between mental health and earning money, of which every now and then it would tip back to the mental health side, and I'd have a bit of a fucking self-implode moment. Ended up getting a job through a charity called On Course Foundation. They put me onto a greenkeeping course. Funny enough, at Grantham. Yeah, so the golf course up there that's owned by Ping. I was up there for 18 months doing, I don't know, like an apprenticeship thing, I suppose you'd call it. I'm qualified greenkeeper now. Not that I've fucking used it since qualifying, but
At least you can
so
cut your grass.
but
At least you can cut your grass.
well, it's a bit more than cutting grass, but yeah. So then from that I went into landscaping, of which I found really, really good for me and my mental health. A, being outside, and B, doing stuff with my hands.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a very academic person. So if you ask me to build you anything, I could fucking build you it. Like, I just do a bit of research via YouTube and I'm on it. Go get the
Right.
materials, fucking build you it. Like, we've just had a big extension on the back of our house, and I've done about 95% of that. Yeah. The only
It's a
thing
cost down as well.
the only thing I haven't done on my extension was the brick and block work, because I just didn't want to be, that's structural. I just didn't want to be responsible for that. So we got bricking to do that. Didn't put the screed in purely because the subfloor, purely because of the size of the fucking room. It's like 55 square meters, and I didn't skim it. That's the only 3 jobs I haven't done. I've done the plumbing, I've done the electrics, I've done the tiling, the kitchen fitting, fucking everything. Yeah.
Jesus. So I mean, did you seek help from any agencies and stuff like that to combat stress
Mental
or
health wise, no, unintentionally. So, what I was saying about every now and then I tip off into the fucking darkness and self implode. One of them moments was while we was having a piss up at my house, and a supposed mate of mine was accused. So it just gets a bit fucking complicated. So let me try and explain it properly. So one of the regular people that come around my house was my ex-sister-in-law.
Right.
So she was married to my brother, but then they separated, and then she hooked up with one of my mates. So, and because we've known each other for so long, we used to counsel each other. And this one particular night, she was having problems with. Her dad had just been told he's got cancer or something. I can't remember, but her dad was really ill. And anyway, I was talking to her and supporting her however the fuck I could in what was effectively it was my shed at the time. And anyway, my so-called mate accused us of doing something else, but being pissed up, I fucking lost my shit and knocked 10 barrels of shit out of him. Of which I found myself in fucking court, and so basically finding myself in court with another kick in the bollocks to go, right, okay, I actually need to do something about this mental health problem, because I'd had a bit of counselling before then, through the NHS, but it didn't really scratch the surface, didn't really get into it. But at this point, I knew I needed to do something because my missus, she turned around and says, "Yeah, it's like you do something about this, or me and the kids are leaving. I'm not letting them be exposed to this. You are imploding, and you are a danger to yourself and everybody around you. So sort your shit out, or we're off." Luckily, by that point, I'd made contact with my regiment and been allocated my regimental casualty officer, which is Matt Elmer, absolute fucking godsend. Cannot speak highly enough of him. And I told him, look, I'm in the shit. I've fucked up. I've ended up in prison. Ended up in court. I need some fucking legal representation or just some fucking moral representation. And he's like, yep, sorted. Right, so this is what we need to do to make it look good for the courts is we're going to get you onto this fucking Walking with the Wounded 12-week fucking private counselling or psychotherapy course, of which the first 12 weeks was all paid for by Walking with the Wounded.
Yeah.
It was one of the programs that they ran, and after that 12 weeks, not after that, by the time that 12 weeks was coming up, I'd gone through court. The court had basically given me a slap on the wrist and says, look, sort of shit out. We understand that, the situation isn't ideal, but you need to get a grip of yourself. So then I decided to crack on and do that out my own pocket for 3.5 years in total, with the psychotherapist, and I'm in the best place I've ever been in. And it turns out getting shot in the head was like tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, I mean, like we spoke about before we started recording. I mean, I've listened to a lot of stories on the podcasts of people, and the people who have suffered PTSD. A lot of it is traced back to their youth and stuff that happened to them before they were even in the army.
Yeah,
it's freaking amazing type of thing. So I mean, it's and it's just what's happened. Like in your case, like you say, getting shot in the head was the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of stuff being underneath, and that gets brought out. And you've got to, you need that outlet as well. You need that, either the therapy or someone to talk to or whatever.
Yeah. Because I try, as much as I'm all over fucking social media, I do try and protect my missus and kids from it. I don't tend to go too deep into the shitstorm that was my childhood. My missus has met my mum. She knows how much of a fucking headbuck she is. So yeah, it's just.
So you've just touched that to bring the subject back up a bit. Obviously, you don't really want to talk about that. So you touched on their social media. I mean, that's how I found you. The old TikTok, tickety tock.
Ticky tock.
So how did that start?
Oh, that's a fucking story in itself. That is. So back in 2020, I was quite heavily into my mountain biking, and I'd gone away for the day to mountain bike with a mate, and ended up breaking both my arms at the same time.
You don't have much luck, you like, do you?
No, no. Like, how the fuck I'm not dead? I do not fucking know. Because I've had umpteen amount of fucking car crashes as well. But that's
Okay.
yeah. Fucking yeah. So I've broken both my arms, and it was just before the pandemic had kicked in. Like back in January 2020.
Yeah.
And I found myself in a double cast, sitting on the fucking sofa, not being able to fucking do anything, and literally all like so. I had on my left arm, I had a cast from my elbow down to my second knuckle, and then on my right. So what I'd done on that is I fucked my hand up, dislocated all the small bones at the back of the hand, and pushed them underneath my knuckle bones.
How?
Uh, yes.
Stop
So
it.
so that had to be sliced open and rejigged. So that was in like a proper fucking like a wrist cast, if you like, because that was all fucking pinned and stuff. That was pretty fucking gnarly, that one. And then on my right arm, I completely obliterated my elbow. So I was in a cast from the back of my thumb all the way up to my armpit, and that one.
Right.
Because they ended up having to pin it because I basically just obliterated my elbow. They decided the best way forward is putting a plate and pin it. So I've got a metal L plate in my elbow. And while I was fucking sat there in my double fucking cast, not being able to do anything, TikTok was all like kicking off and becoming all the rage. So I just thought, fuck it, I'll download it, see what it's about. Yeah, I'm not really fucking asked. It's entertainment. It keep me fucking mind busy, whatever. I might find some shit. Anyway, as I was scrolling through, the more and more I scrolled, the more and more military content I found. Ricky was one of the first. Who else was out there? There's a few others, but they've all sacked it in now. But yeah, so I sort of come across these military creators, chinwagging about military life, military stuff, and I was just like, do you know what? I might fucking stick my fucking story out there, see what fucking happens. And it was just coming up to my bangiversary, so like the day I was shot anniversary.
Anniversary.
Yeah, yeah. So it's you've obviously not spoken to any fucking lads that stood on landmines because that's what they all call
No,
it.
not yet.
Yeah, that's what they all call it, bangiversary.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, so it's coming up to that, and I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'll record some bullshit fucking stories to gather. I mean, I'd already done a few videos, fuck arsing about with the kids and whatever, all the fucking TikTok dances and shit. I've done a few of them, but not put any proper content out as such. So I recorded a little fucking video, and at the time you could only record up to 60 seconds. So yeah, so I'd recorded it and fucking pinged it out there into the internet, and yeah, it went a bit fucking wild. Fucking everybody, yeah, fucking. I can't remember how many views it got, but it got fucking a fair few. And I thought, oh fucking hell, people will actually fucking listen to me waffle shit about the military. And then effectively that's all I've done, just waffle shit about the military. Yeah, ended up losing my first account, about 36,000 followers, just because I was a fucking idiot and just wound people up, and just got fucking reported. So that got fucking binned very quickly. Oh no, sorry, my first account I lost only had like 15,000 followers. The second account I lost had 36,000 followers, because I was just a fucking idiot winding people up. And then I started my third one, which I'm on now, and I think just today I've hit 27,000 followers on it, which isn't a massive number in consideration of following base, but it's big enough.
It's
I get
better
fucking.
than I've got 69.
Yeah.
I just started, but I mean, I didn't realise how popular it was. Really, I mean, I just
Oh yeah, it's fucking wild, mate.
yeah, I'd be on TikTok, like just fucking you go up. I'll have 10 minutes on TikTok when I lay in bed, and next thing you know, it's daylight.
3 hours
It's
later.
daylight. Yeah, and it's like You know, and I only like looked at it last year, really, and you just seen like the likes of, you know, the algorithm got to know me quite well because I
Yeah.
was just looking at videos of Rebecca Goodwin all the time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, all right, what's that link go to? Yeah. But and then I seen like Ricky, and I seen yours and Richie's and people like that, and I thought actually these are quite interesting. You know, I mean, all right, they're funny. You know, you have your laugh and all that, but you've got your serious side as well.
Oh
And as
yeah.
I understand, you know, I mean, I've spoken to quite a few other people, and like the likes of Ricky are doing a lot to help other people as well,
Yeah.
and yourself as well. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And it is, you know, if it's an outlet for people, um, to express themselves as well, but also for other people to ask you questions, to seek advice and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then again, you've always got the option to just wind people up, which I'm starting to discover that there's people out there that need winding up now and again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not all sweetness and rainbows, is it?
No, there's 2 or 3 different sides to TikTok. You got to make sure you're on the right side. Yeah.
So what's the future holding for you then?
Well, come September, I'm going back to school. I'm doing a course at the BFBS Academy. Where the fuck is that? Buckinghamshire.
Yeah.
I'm doing a production manager's course through them. So yeah,
Oh, nice one.
that's a 7-month course that I'll get a diploma level 4 out of. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping it bounces me onto some sort of video production / I don't fucking know, a job doing that sort of stuff.
Oh, good luck with that. Good luck with you.
Yeah,
I know one of the lads who was in 3-9 with us. He had a bit of a bad time when he left, and that's what he went to. He went
yeah,
off to do the BFPS course. I'll have to look him up actually and find out how it went for him. I
yeah,
haven't spoken to him for a while. But no, honestly, I hope everything goes swimmingly for you. Good luck with the future.
yeah. Thanks, man.
Right, we've gone over 2 hours now, so I
Yeah, I
think
know.
we've.
I don't off waffle, mate.
No, hey, fucking, there's no need to apologise, mate. I've just got to again say thank you very much for coming on and taking the time to share your story. And you know, I'm lost for words, really. You're just like the most unlucky bloke I've ever met.
Or luckiest.
Yeah.
Depends just where you look at it.
Well, yeah. A
Yeah.
bit of, did you put the lottery on or not?
That's funny enough. That's one of the most common questions I get.
I
Is
can imagine. Yeah.
did you put the lottery on? The second most common is, oh, dude, what the fuck happened to your eye?
Do you never get
Yeah.
like a false one and throw it in just to wind people up?
I've got false ones. Yeah, I've got a normal one, but then I've also got like a full black one.
That just
Which
freaks people out.
yeah, because I don't bother wearing my false eye, just because it looks false and people it looks false, but it doesn't look false. It's like a really weird fucking middle ground. That every now, like, I used to work at a builder's merchant a few years ago, just as a bit of a fucking hobby. And they all used to give me the fucking stick the head over to one side of like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
going on there? You know, and you could see them thinking about it, trying to work out what the fuck it is. So I just stopped fucking wearing it.
I'd imagine is it uncomfortable sticking it and having it in? Or
No.
yeah.
Having a foot in a false eye, you get used to it. I mean, if I was to put it in now, it'd feel uncomfortable because I've not had it in for so long. But
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah,
bother me.
well. Yeah, I shouldn't have asked the question about the lottery. I feel like a bit of a tit now.
No, it's fine, mate. Like I said, I get it a lot. I get it a
I can
lot.
imagine. Right,
Yeah.
I'll end the podcast now then, mate. Again, thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I've really enjoyed the story, honestly. And again, all the best for the future. I hope everything goes brilliant for you. I'll just stop the recording now. I hope you enjoyed that podcast. I enjoyed recording it. If you could just hit the like button, and also if you could subscribe and hit the notification bell, that'd be great, because it'll help the channel grow. The more people will see it, the bigger it'll get, and the more guests I can get on, and the more people I can talk to. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, like I said. Look forward to the next one. Hopefully we'll be out next week as normal. Bye-bye now.